Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. Sitting in for Pinky Webb, I'm Renato Reyes. Today on the program, the Supreme Court solidifies Bongbong Marcos' win as the next president after it junked 2 petitions challenging his candidacy. Organizers say it's all systems go for the president-elect's inauguration. And several groups are set to stage protest actions as Marcos takes over the country's highest post. Interior spokesperson Jonathan Malaya and BAYAN Secretary General Renato Reyes join us live. Just 2 days before a historic inauguration, the Supreme Court hands down a decision solidifying Bongbong Marcos' win as the next president. The decision junked the petitions challenging his candidacy. Our senior correspondent, Anjo Alimario, tells us more.
There's no stopping Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. from sitting as the 17th president of the Philippines, as the Supreme Court, in a unanimous decision, clears any legal hurdle leading to his inauguration on June 30th. The highest court of the land has spoken. Marcos is qualified to run and be elected to public office. They made it clear his certificate of candidacy is valid and in accordance with the law. That's why COMELEC was right in its decision, except for Justices Henry Inting and Antonio Co, who did not take part in the deliberations. Inting is the brother of acting COMELEC chairperson Socorro Inting, while Co is a former commissioner of the poll body. Civic leaders represented by lawyer Ted Tech questioned before the High Court COMELEC's junking of their petition to cancel Marcos' certificate of candidacy. A separate petition was filed by martial law victims to disqualify Marcos. They pointed out Marcos was convicted for non-filing of income tax returns from 1982 to 1985 when he was governor and vice governor of Ilocos Norte. They insisted Marcos committed a crime of moral turpitude and perjury for making false representations in his COC. COMELEC rejected this argument, saying the tax law applicable to Marcos did not perpetually disqualify him from holding public office. The poll body also says the 1977 tax code did not require mandatory prison time. Marcos also dismissed the petitions, pointing out that the Supreme Court no longer has jurisdiction on his case, saying it now falls within the sole jurisdiction of the Presidential Electoral Tribunal. The fight's not yet over for the petitioners. They can still file a motion for reconsideration, but it's going to be an uphill battle since they're up against a unanimous decision. Anjo Alimario, CNN Philippines.
Marcos' party, Partido Federal, thanked the Supreme Court for its decision, as the ruling proves that the president-elect did not lie in his certificate of candidacy. One of the petitioner's lawyers says none of the parties or councils have read the decision yet. Theodore Tess says they will wait until they have read the decision before issuing a reaction or giving any comment. The Philippine National Police vows to exercise maximum tolerance for those planning to stage protests on Thursday. Interior Secretary Eduardo Año says demonstrators will only be allowed at designated freedom parks in Manila. The Confederation for Unity, Recognition, and Advancement for Government Employees, or COURAGE, will stage a protest on Thursday. They will urge the incoming administration to provide a living wage and job security. A group of martial law victims will also have their own oath-taking at the Bantayog ng mga Bayani. The group is urging the public to, quote, guard against tyranny, falsehoods, and the trampling of people's rights and freedoms. Amnesty International said more than 70,000 are known to have been tortured, killed, or disappeared under the regime of the president-elect's father, the late dictator Ferdinand Marcos. Let's go straight to the source of the story. BAYAN Secretary General Renato Reyes joins us now. Sec-Gen, thank you for being here this morning.
Hi, thank you. Morning.
All right, there will be protests on Inauguration Day, as you heard there. What will your particular message be this year at the start of a new administration?
Well, there are 2 things that we would like to raise. One is we should not forget the ascent of Mr. Marcos to Malacanang does not extinguish the crimes, the abuses of the Marcos dictatorship, and we should continue to hold them accountable for all that. Number 2, the incoming administration must address the very urgent concerns and demands of the people, especially the economy. And we think that the first executive order should be one that is related to the economy, related to rising oil prices and the huge taxes being imposed on petroleum products. So these are some of the issues that we are going to discuss tomorrow at the program, which will be held at around 9 a.m. at Liwasang Bonifacio.
All right, so you will be at Liwasang Bonifacio. What exactly is your program of activities there?
Well, there won't be any more marches. We will go straight to Liwasang Bonifacio. Liwasang Bonifacio is a designated freedom park. It does not require any rally permit. So the program will be held there at the grounds, and we will end probably after lunch or a little past 12 noon. The program will end and the protesters will disperse peacefully. We do not expect any untoward incidents. The narrative that there will be chaos, there will be violence, that's not really true. We'd like to clear any misconception that the protest is going to be violent. As far as the organizers are concerned, that is not the case.
Secgen, how many attendees are you expecting for tomorrow?
We don't have an estimate yet, but hopefully we'll get to fill up the grounds at Liwasang Bonifacio, and hopefully the police would not prevent people from actually reaching Liwasang Bonifacio, because it has been announced that it is a freedom park and they would be in violation of the law if they would deny that space for the protesters.
Right, and they have vowed to exercise maximum tolerance. But speaking of the police, have you been able to speak to them or other authorities regarding your protest action tomorrow?
Personally, I haven't spoken to any members of the PNP, but we received a phone call yesterday. Our office received a phone call, and some assurances were made regarding the peaceful conduct of tomorrow's protest. So let's hope that they keep their word and they act in good faith and respect the freedom of expression and the right to peaceably assemble of the different groups that will be mobilizing tomorrow.
All right, and as you said, Liwasang Bonifacio is a freedom park, therefore it does not require any permits. Now, the PNP has said that they've prepared a mobile jail for rowdy protesters. Do you think this is necessary at all? And what exactly does rowdy mean in this case?
Well, it's totally unnecessary, and it really feeds into the narrative that there will be violence and chaos, and it justifies the overreaction of the police. And we've been hearing the same thing for the last 3 weeks. They have been making threats against protesters and basically trying to intimidate everyone. And it sends a really bad tone. It sets a bad tone for the incoming Marcos administration, because on the first day in office, we will see a very militarized Metro Manila, or a very militarized area in Manila. It brings back images of martial law, of his father's dictatorship, because all we're seeing is heavy police presence and this continuing narrative that they are going to suppress peaceful protesters. So is that really the route that they want to take on day one of this administration? I hope not.
No, Secgen, you said in a tweet that there is no plot or no plan to disrupt the inauguration. Tell us more about this, please.
Well, we have been very public with our plans, with our programs, and we have held a press conference that the protest action will be limited at Liwasang Bonifacio. We have made assurances to the public, and we have been waiting for any notification from the PNP and the LGU of Manila to sit down with them in a dialogue. And up to now, no dialogue has actually taken place, at least publicly. And all we had was a phone call from the PNP. So transparent po kami dito, no? There's no plot, no? Whatever intelligence reports that they are saying, all these are questionable, no? And let's really stop intimidating the public and feeding them all these scare scenarios, because it's not helping the cause of the PNP and much less the incoming Marcos administration.
All right, thank you for your time this morning. BAYAN Secretary General Renato Reyes. We will be taking a short break. Interior spokesperson Jonathan Malaya joins us next. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. I'm Maria Tanwat Cotrillo. Our source today, Interior spokesperson and Undersecretary Jonathan Malaya. Yusek, good morning. Thank you for being here. Now, it looks like all systems go for the inauguration of President-elect Bongbong Marcos tomorrow. Could you update us on where exactly is the DILG in terms of preparation?
Well, we are the chair of the Committee on Security, Traffic, and Communications. And yesterday we had a meeting with the entire team, and we presented to the Secretary the preparations for the inauguration. And the Secretary was very pleased. No? So he made a statement yesterday in our press conference that all is set, that all the necessary preparations have been done, and that we expect a peaceful and orderly turnover of power from the outgoing to the incoming administration.
All right, with just a little over than 24 hours to go before the new president is sworn in, what areas or aspects of the preparation for the inauguration are you concentrating on right now? And what are contingency plans if in case the weather does not cooperate?
Well, insofar as the security preparations are concerned, we have more or less around 15,000 personnel that will be deployed in the National Museum and in the areas around the National Museum. The Manila Police District and the National Capital Region Police Office are on top of this. We've also coordinated with the Joint Task Force NCR of the Armed Forces of the Philippines for augmentation of forces if necessary. So we have our civil disturbance unit ready. So, as we have seen in the past few days, there has been simulation exercises being done by our PNP forces together with our allied organizations in order to prepare for any untoward threat or security threat to the inauguration tomorrow.
Regarding the inauguration tomorrow, Yusek, could you take us through step by step what will happen exactly on Inauguration Day?
It's really the call of the inauguration committee. No? We in the DILG, we are just in charge of the security preparations. No, but as far as we were told, there will be what usually happens in inaugurations. No. Will be done. It's a simple yet solemn event tomorrow. There will be a civic military parade, and in that civic military parade, we're going to have the frontliners. On the civic side, it's going to be the frontliners who will be given top honors, and then and other organizations as well. And then we have the military component where we're going to feature our assets. No? So there will be armored vehicles. There will be the newly acquired assets of the armed forces, including a flyby by the Philippine Air Force. And I understand that Senate President Tito Soto will be the one to read the results of the elections and make the formal proclamation. And then the formal oath taking will follow to be administered by the Chief Justice, Sismundo, and the inaugural speech will be delivered by the incoming president.
All right, sir, this is the first presidential inauguration during a pandemic. How many guests and VIPs are we expecting here?
We were told that around 1,250 guests are to be accommodated in the VIP section. But of course, there will be people who would like to attend and witness. No? So we have reserved the Padre Burgos area and the Intramuros Golf Course for them. But as you said, this is a pandemic, so there will be implementation of minimum public health standards. We will require everyone to wear face masks, and vaccination cards will also be checked. We hope that all those who will attend tomorrow's inauguration will be vaccinated and most importantly boosted. No? Because the 2 doses, the immunity that we get from the 2 doses wane over time. Mm-hmm. So we hope that the participants will be fully vaccinated and boosted as well.
All right, Yusek, are you monitoring any security threats so far? I think earlier the DILG mentioned that there was a plan that they might have heard of to disrupt the inauguration. Tell us more about that.
Yes, we received intelligence reports that the leftist groups are planning to embarrass or conduct or undertake an event, no, that could disrupt the inauguration. So I'm pleased to hear, no, I'm pleased to hear Renato Reyes, the Secretary General of BAYAN, saying that they have no intention whatsoever to disrupt the inauguration, and all that they want is to conduct a peaceful protest. So that is very much welcome. But unfortunately, we cannot take their word for it. The duplicitous nature of their group has been seen by the public for so many years. No, they would say it's a peaceful protest, but then nakikipag-gitgitan sila sa mga police. They will try to make a scene just to be able to get media mileage. No, they're going to utilize everything and to be able to get the necessary propaganda value, which they get from these types of events. So rather than be complacent about it, no, we are going to mobilize enough personnel so that in case that they insist on moving from Liwasang Bonifacio towards the National Museum, because malapit lang itong dalawan to, no? It's more than a kilometer. The distance is just over a kilometer. Just in case they insist on moving forward from their location in Liwasang Bonifacio to go to the National Museum, we will have enough personnel to ensure that doesn't happen.
All right. According to Sec Gen Reyes, that they don't need to actually file a permit if they're going to be in Liwasang Bonifacio, because he said it's a freedom park. So that's true, right?
Yes, and we're respecting their constitutional right to peacefully assemble and to express their opinion, or free speech, no, or freedom of expression. So they are welcome to hold any of their protest actions in any of the freedom parks in Metro Manila. Our concern, however, is if they insist on moving from Liwasang Bonifacio to go to the National Museum, no? Because we have seen this many times. For example, in the State of the Nation address of many presidents, no, they always insist on moving forward. There has been, for example, meetings between both camps from the Philippine National Police and their group, and discussion has been, we will stay up to this area only. We will not move forward. But yet, nothing happens from these dialogues. They will insist. They in the past have reneged on their promises. So we're not being complacent here. We're not taking any chances. We will mobilize as many personnel as we can to ensure that they stay put in Liwasang Bonifacio and they do not move forward towards the National Museum.
All right, sir, we need to take a short break. We'll be back. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. I'm Rieta Cotrillo. Our source today, Interior Spokesperson Jonathan Malaya. Sir, we just have a few minutes left in the program, so I want to ask you, what are your last-minute reminders to members of the public who want to attend the inauguration tomorrow?
As you said a while ago, it's a pandemic. So please follow minimum public health standards. Have yourself make sure you're vaccinated, fully vaccinated and boosted, and don't bring anything, anything that would be considered as a deadly weapon. The PNP will be screening all individuals that will be attending tomorrow's inauguration, and really, for the sake of the country, our hope and prayer is that we have a peaceful transition of power. We don't really care about the politics of the group of Renato Reyes and all of the critics and the protesters. No, they have every right to undertake whatever protest action they want. No, our concern really is security, and what we want is an orderly transition of power, because the Filipino people spoke already in the last elections, and we have to make sure that their voice is actually translates to a peaceful transition of power in tomorrow's inauguration.
Right, Yusek, the DOH has said that it is possible that in the next couple of weeks, the Philippines could see 17,000 cases of COVID a day. What is the ILG doing to ensure that there won't be another surge like there was in January? And realistically, how can you really ensure that minimum health standards are carried out by everyone attending?
Yes, so the minimum public health standards under alert level 1 is the use of face mask and vaccination, okay? Because the capacity in public venues is already 100%. So what's the good news is that the entire country is generally still low risk. And even if we have a spike in the number of cases, our healthcare utilization is still at a low 15%. So even if we have a rise in cases, our hospitals do not see a large number of severe and critical cases. So definitely our healthcare utilization system, our healthcare system is still at a low risk level, and therefore we are in a better place, no, compared to what happened in January. So all we need to do now is to ensure that minimum public health standards are implemented so that we do not have serious problems moving forward.
All right, now starting tomorrow, of course, your department will also be, like the rest of the country, under a new administration. Can you tell us a little bit about the transition from DILG Secretary Eduardo Año to Ben-Hur Abalos? How has that been going? And are there any programs that the DILG wants the next chief to continue?
Yes, incoming Secretary Ben-Hur Abalos has visited the DILG together with members of his team, and we did a briefing about the major projects and programs of the department to him, no? And there were several also follow-through meetings about certain issues like the implementation of the Mandanas-Garcia ruling and other issues like the BARM that the incoming secretary wanted a briefing, no? So we have not heard yet when is his next visit. We expect to see him hopefully on July 1 in the department, no? And the Secretary Año has always been has been going around the department yesterday, and in fact, he always tells us to please share and give whatever support that was given to him should also be given to the incoming secretary.
Right.
So, in terms of priorities,
Go ahead.
yes, in terms of priorities, Secretary Año expressed to incoming Secretary Ben-Hur Abalos if the incoming administration can focus, of course, on sustaining the gains in the fight against criminality, illegal drugs, and corruption, as well as to continue the modernization of the Philippine National Police, the Bureau of Fire, and the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology. I think the public can see the improved equipment and assets that has been procured by the government for the attached agencies of the DILG in the past 6 years.
All right, on another topic, Yusek, ICC prosecutor Karim Khan wants to reopen the Duterte drug war probe. Do you think this should be allowed? And how do you think the Marcos administration will deal with this?
Yeah, I don't think the reopening of the ICC probe is necessary. I don't think there is no basis. The position of government has been very consistent. We are no longer part of the ICCC. And it was not validly ratified by the Philippines. Therefore, they have no jurisdiction. Number two, the Philippines has its own internal processes in investigating all of these deaths. And the deaths resulting from legitimate operations are not covered by the jurisdiction of the ICC. It was made very clear by the Philippine government that that we are conducting our own investigation through our own Department of Justice. And I think the world has seen how vibrant Philippine democracy is and that our judiciary is working. And therefore, we see no need for the ICC to resume whatever investigation they would wish to conduct on the government's very successful anti-drug war.
All right, sir, thank you for your time this morning. That was Interior Spokesperson Undersecretary Jonathan Malaya. And thank you for joining us here on The Source. Sitting in for Pinky Webb, I'm Ria Tanwat Cotrillo. You're watching CNN Philippines.